I'll let you know when. And we're live. So, welcome back to another special edition of the Dream Dojo live show. Here with me today is Jasheen. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
That is correct. Yes, Jesse. Nice to meet you, Naya.
Yes. And I'm Jesse. You can call me Night Owl, whatever you're more comfortable with. We actually got into a good 10-minute conversation before we hit the live button. So, I'm going to let Jasheen kind of like take over and tell you a little bit more about himself in the context of his lucid dreaming practice and now dream yoga as well.
Correct. Yes. Well, thank you for giving me this platform and having me here. Um, so, as I was just talking about me and how I got introduced to Dream Yoga, it actually happened through a friend that I used to work with. He was Egyptian. He was not Indian. He was living and working in India, and he introduced me to this um, workshop that he was attending in India, which was Dream Yoga workshop. I got introduced to the not only Dream Yoga but the whole idea of um, achieving spirituality and spiritual powers through lucid dreaming. Dream yoga was just a method that I learned, but I was not even aware of this um, way of practicing or meditating. So I got introduced there and I signed up and attend the workshop, the same workshop in India next year. But during this year, I studied um, lucid dreaming and various methods, studies. I met with some practitioners. I taught. I went to some conferences, some Stephen LeBerg's conference. So I attended these and I start practicing a year before my actual workshop in India began. And I started having my first glimpses of lucidity in about a month and a half of me starting extensively every night practicing. I was very distracted and I didn't know that. And I didn't know how much that distraction would affect my lucid dreaming ability. So it took me a month and a half to realize this and fix this problem and move on and have my first experience of lucid dreaming.
Very
Um,
cool. So let me just kind of interrupt you there. I heard a lot. It sounds like a workshop is what got you interested in the concept of lucid
correct,
dreaming,
correct.
and you
But I was
sort of
traveling for work, so I couldn't
yep,
sign up. I signed up for the next year.
gotcha. So that's making plans and setting an intention far in
Correct.
advance. And I think that's vital time that you spent practicing and learning a bit more about what lucid dreaming really was.
Correct.
Okay, just make sure I'm following along.
Yeah.
And eventually, that journey led you to basically practicing lucid dreaming through the lens of dream yoga through another workshop in
Uh,
India.
correct. Correct. I mean,
Okay.
the same workshop. It was an
Oh,
annual workshop.
the next year as well.
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha. Awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. So, when you had your first experience, because that's always the hook, line, and sinker, tell us a little bit more about what that was like exactly for you and how you were practicing leading up to that, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. There was this practice that I forgot the name of the book right now. It was so old, but there was a practice that you would focus on your throat and imagine there is a lotus flower here blooming, and you should feel that on your throat. And what you feel is actually your throat chakra, throat chakra. So that's what you're focusing on. And you focus on your breath, and that is it. You fall asleep. In the dream, you're going to have signs that for some reason you just remember those signs and become lucid. Of course, this requires a specific amount of time you practicing your daily reality checks. That's the core. Without that, without us doubting the reality, we would never become lucid in a dream. That's what I think. And
I agree. Yeah, I
yeah,
think you have to have a
and
critical
it,
mindset
yeah,
during the day, specifically, not just when you go to sleep at night. I think so many people try to practice lucid dreaming with the last 10, 15 minutes before they fall asleep and
yeah,
don't put in the work throughout the day that sets you up for success.
100%,
Um,
100%.
so yeah, I agree. I think reality checks are a great place to start. Maybe you can speak a little bit to how mindfulness lends itself to thinking critically about the world you live in and sort of paying attention to the details that matter.
Uh, just like you said, but the attention to the details would actually go away. You will not, you will gonna stop paying attention to things that doesn't matter in the real world, the world that we are all in it as our real selves, not this physical thing. Um, you see, the core of everything, us, life, me, you, everything is energy. We are all energy. We are all particles, and these particles have energy. That's the core belief of this physical world. So if we are these energies and we are these vibrations, um, that means there is something that we can't see, and we are just so distracted by everything to see that reality, that energetic reality. And mindfulness and simply becoming aware of you being you, a simple practice for uh, reality checks are you just counting your fingers, simply that. You just count that you have 5 fingers on your hand right there. That's a practice. That's a very common practice in reality checks. And that's a reminder to you that you exist, and this existence exists with you. That is enough for you to just illuminate your path toward anything that you want to achieve in your life. So, yeah, that's how mindfulness really affects the way you live, the way you set your goals, the way you work for those goals, the amount of energy that you spend. You would, when you see energy, then you will be conscientious of that energy and how you spend it, and you will spend it better, more useful on things that will make you grow, help you grow. When you don't see that and you're just distracted, nothing really moves because you don't move. Energy sits, energy rots. You rot. To come out of this rottenness, you have to be aware of the 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 nature that is within you, that energy and other energies, and how we are connected, how everything is in a unified reality, is connected within a unified reality. So that will be a answer to your question.
Beautiful. Yeah, very well said. I couldn't agree more. Energy is the answer to the equation we're seeking the answer to.
Exactly.
um, I really like the quote that um, thoughts become our words become our actions become our habits become our character, and our character is our life.
For real.
I might have butchered
Reality.
that, but it speaks, I think, to the nature of momentum and how we are these swirling vortices of energy in different and energy centers throughout our body that pull us in different directions, and depending on where our attention goes in the moment, then we may respond a certain way or act in a certain way. And you mentioned chakras too, and I'm not quite sure everybody really has a good understanding of what chakras are. Since we're speaking of energy, maybe you could elaborate on that just a little bit also.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there is there's this word, there's this saying that says, "As above, so below." This belief is based on a fact that this infinite energy, you see, in the core of an atom, there is a core, and then there is neutron and protons, and then these electrons just keep circling around this core forever, forever, from the beginning to the ever. And this energy never ends. We know it, but we have no explanation for it. Why this never ends. So, uh, this endlessness manifests in a celestial form outside of this earth. So there is a belief that energy is outside of this world, and we all the energy that we receive is from there, from above. Most of the ancient science also believe in this idea, like yin and yang. It's like up and down, black and white, like the Star of David, a triangle up, a triangle down, as above, so below. A lot of science around throughout the world uh, mentions this. So chakras are spots in our body, but not on our physical body, on our energetic body, that connects us with that energy up there. So they're a source of the energy. Our actions, every single action receives this energy from that core, and then consequently, the consequence of that action will affect that chakra. Like, I can give you an example. For example, you feel so passionate about somebody. You feel so much in love, in eve of somebody, that you go and hug him so hard. That's your heart chakra letting you toward this energy. That person is energy. This chakra is letting you toward that energy. And then you go and hug him so hard that person feels pain. That person just, it's like their bones are crushed, and they just like, stop, don't do this. I'm hurt. And then the consequence come back. The consequence is you're sad now. You're heartbroken because that person got hurt and you are the reason. And this hurtfulness will come back and affect this chakra again. Where does your brain play a part in this equation? Is when to tell you that slow down a little. Be careful. Express yourself, but be mindful. Don't hurt her. That's what your brain does. But the energy for that go for a hug comes from that chakra. And we have many chakras around our body, but the 7 chakras are the first one on our top of the head, which is, they call it crown chakra, and then one on our between our eyes, they call it third eye, and then one on our throat, which is the gateway to the dream world, and then one on the heart, which they call it the heart chakra, and one right between your chest and your belly. They call it solar chakra. And then one on your belly button. They call it belly or stomach chakra, and one exactly between your legs, like where your genitals are, and they call it root chakra. Seven chakra. Each of these are responsible to give out and absorb energies that are related to our feelings. Brain is responsible to regulate these energies, how much they're going. Now, more you know, you better manage this flow of energy, the interaction between you and the world around you. So that's why people need to become wise, to learn, read. But if they don't know where this energy is coming from, they're never going to be able to manage it well. And
Is that
those
why people say activation of certain chakras when you're acting out emotion, you're activating a chakra? Is that a fair language to use?
it's actually out of balance.
Out of balance. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
If you're too angry, so anger affects the two chakra that are not even main chakras, and they're on the bottom of your feet. There are two chakras on the bottom of your feet, and they're there. It doesn't matter if you cut your legs. It doesn't matter. They're on your energetic, your soul body, spirit body, and they give out and receive anger. Anger in Tibetan dream yoga or Bon Tibetan ideas is what causing corruption in the energy of your legs, and that corruption, if continues, will destroy that source of energy. You will lose that source of energy, and you become corrupt, you become ill, you become, and you die. You lose this life. So yeah, it's for example, when they're out of balance, they produce to excess or bad energy or negative energy of uh, their supposed energy production, and it causes imbalance in your life.
Okay. Maybe you can speak to how to find balance at certain points in your chakra system.
uh, I think one of the most effective methods to balance your chakras is to avoid emotions, avoid expressing emotions. And that doesn't mean to become a senseless person, but avoid expressing negative emotions. For example, imagine if somebody in the street, a thief, stole your phone. Um, how many options you have? Run behind the thief and catch him and get your phone, call the police and see what happens if they can catch him, or just let him go and just go buy another phone. Becoming angry and yelling and getting irritated doesn't help at all. But it will buy you so much negative karma that it will destroy your sources of energy. And that is why, when you look at it, none of the negative uh, emotions like jealousy, like greed, like um,
Lust.
lust doesn't really do well. Like, there's this saying in the market to be like, if you want to get ahead, you should be greedy. You see, greed is a negative concept, it's a negative idea. Even if you use it for a positive purpose, it carries that 1,000 years of people's belief on this word being negative. It will
And
affect
are we getting into karma somewhat?
you. I mean, if you're talking about dream yoga, we should talk about karma. Karma and karma and reincarnation are the soul two poles that are holding this roof in dream yoga, Tibetan dream yoga. There
So
should be an
I do
understanding.
want to hear more about karma, but I don't want to lose this thought. So excuse me for just a moment. You did mention that the throat chakra was the portal to the
Correct.
dream world. Can you
Correct.
explain that statement a bit more? I've
Correct.
I've heard that before. I'm
Yes.
wondering why that is.
Um, so as I mentioned, each of these chakras are connected to a celestial being or thing or world up there, a source of energy. We don't know what it is. And so each of them receives energy and delivers energy. When we, in Tibetan dream yoga, when we uh, become lucid in our dream, uh, we wake up in a world that is called etheric world. Etheric world. How do we go there? Through this chakra. Every night that we dream, every night that we dream, we travel through one of these chakra. In those other chakras, we would never become lucid. Only through throat chakra we become lucid because we are in the dream world. It's not dream because the concept of dream is different because in the Tibetan dream yoga, because the belief is that this is a dream. Me and you talking is the dream. Me and you, this, whatever we're doing is the dream. That is the reality. Why? Because you watch football and then you go to sleep and then you see in your dream that there's a football going on. You're watching football in your dream. The question that arises is that if that is reality, why it is continuing to sleep to the dream? Why it doesn't end? Because the idea is that the common idea is that the dream world is a separate thing and the reality of awakened world is a separate thing. The question is, if this is reality, if this football is reality, why it doesn't end when I start seeing dream? Why it keep coming into the dream? How it's find its way to the dream? By breaking this barrier in our brain that uh, there is no distinction. It's all a dream, and that dream is real. We become lucid through dream yoga.
Awesome concept. I think that I myself personally believe that. Um, I've gone quite a few days without sleep. I know we talked briefly before we went live about the power of fasting as well, and sort of taking yourself out of, the physical and how that lends itself to this etheric realm. Um, so I'm wondering if there's any dangers you think associated with blurring the lines between realities, because I often wonder myself if there could be um, some mental health issues regarding, you know, um, blurring the lines between realities that, there may very well be reason for the distinction, and it's, to protect you from acting out, something that would be possible while asleep, and not doing the same thing in your waking life. And before I let you answer that, I did hear you say that, and I'm paraphrasing, that the things we dream about matter. That if you're watching football during the day, you're going to dream about it. It matters. There's a reason, there's a connection. And it's not random necessarily. Although dreams may seem, like riddles sometimes, um, they hold a deeper personal meaning that still applies to your waking life. And I think there's a very valuable message in there.
Absolutely. I mean, like you see a lady in orange coat in your grocery store, and at night you see some lady with an orange coat in your dream. That this question has no answer. That if that lady in the grocery store is real, why am I seeing it in a world that has nothing to do with that reality?
Energy.
Yeah, energy. It's all same. It flows. You just need to understand the flow, and then you get it.
But if you didn't see the girl in the orange,
No.
then you wouldn't have a dream about her. Or would you? Do you think?
Uh, no. I'm talking about regular dream,
Hmm.
not
I
a
may,
lucid. Yeah,
yeah,
not a.
maybe I'm thinking like subconsciously that your brain is, there's a greater awareness, like the source energy you referenced earlier, that might be perceiving things you're not consciously aware of. So although you might swear you didn't see a girl in the orange, that there was somebody there. It might seem random to the conscious waking mind, but in reality, there was something perceived that triggered that association and led you to still have that dream. Um, I guess what I keep trying to do, and it's something in the language, I guess, is rationalizing some of these concepts with other terms. But um, I mean, what you've said so far is great, and it's really kind of helped me get an idea of what your practice looks like. So we've got 4 people watching us. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank you.
Um, Jasheen has been talking a little bit how his dream yoga practice lends itself to a lucid dreaming practice, and we sort of started debating the pros and cons uh, of entertaining the thought that life is a dream, everything is a dream, that there's no difference between right now while you think you're awake and when you're actually sleeping and still dreaming. So maybe we can pick back up
It,
there.
it um when that barrier breaks and you realize that everything is a dream and that dream is reality. So it's not just a dream, it's that the reality that we know and the dream that we think we know are not really that different. So you don't lose one and gain another. You receive something new, which is a hybrid between the reality that you thought that you know and the dream that you thought that you know. So it become unified. It become that energy. And no, when you break that barrier, you don't lose the sense of reality. Actually, the reality becomes much more real to you. For example, um, you have a bill due and you don't have any money in your account, and you're stressed and you're in fear. Fear is very bad. Fear is horrible. It destroys you from within, and you're fearful. But the fear doesn't help you. You're just destroying your body, your brain, your organs with stress, and your soul with the stress over something that doesn't help you. You either have to go find some money or just let it go past. So when you that barrier breaks, and you realize that I think he is gone. I don't know if there's anybody here. Wonderful. Let's wait for probably. I'll wait for him to come back, and we'll take it from there. But all right. Hey, I can't hear you.
Yeah, the last thing I heard was reality becomes more real. And then actually my computer crashed, so I
Oh,
sort of did a reality check for a moment there. But I'm glad you were left on the stage and you could still speak. The good thing is in the recording, there's
yes.
no my latency issues won't affect how it streams
No
your
worries.
audio or anything.
No
But
worries.
it was
No, I
I
just
love the
stopped
thread.
actually for a second for you to come back because I thought I lost you. But yeah, I mean, as I was just saying, that when that barrier breaks, um, the negative feelings that stops you from seeing the reality of your life goes away. So those noises goes away. You become more clear. Everything becomes more clear. You see what you have to see, what you need to see to advance, not only in your spiritual life but also in your day-to-day life. And your boss yells at you angry. Is it real? Is it dreamy? It doesn't matter. I have to do what I'm supposed to do. What is my job? Am I performing well? If not, then I have to perform well. But my boss, I don't know. Is it real? Is it not? I just need to be a better person. And that's, as I say, it's a practice. It's a way of life that you choose to be a correct human being in all times, in any situation. Uh, it works a lot through your personality, your ideas of mm, perfect human, a good human. So I
So let me ask you, Dashin, does that work for you? Do you experience lucidity or does it matter?
um, I see lucid dreaming. I mean, I practice lucid dreaming, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. When you had your first lucid dream, when anybody has their first lucid dream, unless it's a nightmare, people usually wake up full of energy, happy.
Mine
Their
was a nightmare.
was a nightmare,
Hmm. Yes, it was. It's what got me
happens
so
sometimes.
interested.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I guess I desired more power, more control,
Right.
and I've realized now that I've sort of mastered my own lucidity through effort and practice, but most importantly, consistency. Because when I'm not putting effort or energy into my practice, I don't have the results I expect I should have. But I think what you were saying perhaps is that through uh,
I
you
lost you. I lost you
you're
for like 3 seconds.
yep. I think what you were saying perhaps is that through lucidity and waking life, that the desire for control or power sort of escapes you. It's no longer about I need to do this, I need to do that. It's more or trying, for example, you said trying to control your boss. Just focus on what you can control and your performance, and sort of make it reflexively about you. Not that the other person doesn't exist because they're having their own unique experience, perhaps, but
Exactly.
at the same time, you play a role in not only their experience but your perception, more importantly, of their experience.
Exactly.
Um, so yeah, all great messages. I love everything I've heard so far. We've already been talking for about 35 minutes, minus some technical internet issues. Um, but I'd love to hear more just about the tenets of dream yoga. How does that, lend itself to lucid dreaming? I know you said the two tenets earlier were karma and reincarnation. So I will throw two more curveballs at you and bring up maybe common terms people associate with lucid dreaming, which would be mantras. And maybe you could even, since you spoke about using your hands for a reality check, if you want to discuss mudras and how that also speaks to energy. My favorite mudra is usually, and I don't have like an official mudra, but what I like to do is use my my two thumbs and hold them together as like a reminder of my intention to focus mind and heart at the same time, as if my two hands were balancing that energy. So that's my personal mudra.
That's great.
And I also believe in mantras as well. And so many people are, they're, for me, they're positive affirmations. They're phrases through intention, um, that I repeat in order to have a subconscious effect that transcends the thought, right? The attention to detail. It's getting to like the essence of the word as opposed to what I think the meaning of that word is. And I meditate on both my mantra and my mudra in order to maybe steer my mind and not to control, what I'm thinking about, and allow the thoughts to come and flow freely. Does any of that make sense, or should I be approaching that practice differently?
No, that totally makes sense. There are various types of mudras that have various uses in various rituals and practices. And if you already have a mudra that you feel comfortable with, you feel okay, that's just great. Just have it and practice it whenever you can. That's great. Yeah, I mean, I think I will start with the first two pillars of this practice, karma and uh, reincarnation. So, karma, I mean, let me just say it. Karma means working, work in Hindu. And the idea is in this Tibetan belief is that human is God. So every single one of his actions affects the world, affects everything in the world. Thus, it will return back to the person, that same energy. Even as little as raising your hand, that's it. You generated karma at that very moment with saying a word, with having a thought, with every single action of yours creates karma. And now there is good karma and bad karma. That simple. How karma is created, how good karma affects you, how bad karma affects you. I just mentioned for to the people who had their first lucid dream, and when they wake up, when you wake up, after any good lucid dream, you feel full of energy, full of hope.
Oh,
In
Joshine, I was full of energy. I was
Yeah,
scared. I was so
yeah,
scared.
I
I
know.
was, it felt very
I would
real.
like to hear about that. I mean, nightmares sometimes are great, but it's a different story. Uh, um, so that feeling, that joy of relief, freedom, that it's like you left this prison of body in a world that physical laws have no say. So that's joy. Uh, when you have good karma, when you accumulate good karma, you will feel that joy on every single moment of your life. And that's the biggest gift that anybody can ever ask for. Whatever desire that we try to fulfill in our life, whatever it is, owning, money, sex, travel, accomplishment, science, whatever, is to feel that joy at the end, to feel that comfort, that joy, pure moment for anybody's life. You will feel that every day, every second, every moment when you have good karma accumulated.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about that. We'll try to wrap up in about 10 minutes and see if anybody who's watching has any questions. But good karma, so you can accumulate it.
Yes,
Can you spend karma?
this is how it's spent. Your life becomes better. You, you, many people feel it when they wake up in the morning. They just know something's good gonna happen. They
Hmm.
know today's their day. They know everybody's kind to them. Things just happen to them in a good way. Luck just falls on them. That's how it's spent.
I had somebody say to me before that they were giving me good karma, and I'd never been. I guess the negative just seems to take precedence sometimes, and again, your attention goes to the threat or where you feel there's such strong emotion that for whatever reason I was taken aback by somebody saying I'm giving you some good karma, and I always thought that karma was just a personal experience. Do you feel like that's maybe they had a different understanding, or is that something that
Uh,
aligns with your beliefs?
Karma, your karma
Is
is the
your
only
own?
thing, yeah, you're
Hmm.
only the sole responsible person toward your karma are your actions,
I
no
thought you
one
might
else.
say that.
Yes.
So maybe let's speak a little bit more about the work, or
Yeah.
because I love etymology and the
Yeah.
meaning of words, their origin, and I know that changes over time. I think language is a living thing, but what's the work of good karma?
the
What's the
good
work you have to do?
the work you have to do is just not create negative karma, and the negative karma is negative feelings. The moment that you stop having negative feelings, the seven most important negative feelings that corrupt your chakras: first, anger; second, jealousy; third, lust; fourth, greed; and fifth, intentional poorness. Like you you see some people who have money but they don't spend. They want to live in poor situations. That is your fifth worst karma that corrupts your whole chakras and destroy the sources of energy, that energy that will give you joy.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
that's how you accumulate good karma, but just not generating bad karma. That's it.
So so don't give energy to negative emotions. That's what I took away
No
from that.
attention. Forget
No
them.
attention. Yep. So if you feel angry,
If you feel angry, don't even fight it, because that fighting is also creates negative karma. Just
recognize it.
watch it. Yeah, just watch it and it will just go.
Hmm.
Recognize, as you said, yeah, perfectly said.
I think there
Recognize
is.
it and just watch it. It's like you're sitting in a cinema and on the screen wrote anger, a lot of anger. Just watch it and it will fade away. And you don't, it will be great if you are a generous person, kind person, a giving person, warm person, loving person. But for living good and spiritually healthy, Not being negative is enough.
That's great. That's enough.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I would love to have a completely separate conversation. Maybe we can do this again some other time soon
Absolutely.
about
Anytime.
reincarnation.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Because I'd love to hear your thoughts, and
Thank
you're
you
very well
so
spoken. So
much.
thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank
making
you.
time to talk with
Thank
me
you.
and share your practice. I know it's so personal.
Yeah.
So maybe we can just wrap up before I've seen a few questions, so we'll let anybody interested to have that opportunity. But
Yeah.
maybe you can help guide us through one last practical piece of wisdom, which would be your own personal meditation practice. If you could just walk us through how for somebody to start who might be interested in being more consistent with a sit.
Absolutely. A very common practice that I've been practicing every night before sleep is this. And I've been doing it since the day I was a student. I'm still the student, but since the day I begin practicing until now, is that per Tibetan Dream Yoga, there are three channels of energy in our body. They all start from our nostrils, go up all the way to our crown chakra, and then comes down all the way to between our leg on our genitals on our root chakra. They merge and then they come up from the center of our body and exit from the crown chakra again. So there's two channel coming from here, going down, merging, becoming one, and coming up. The left nose, the left nozzle is in red. The color is red. The right one is white. The middle one is blue. You will sit in meditating position, whatever position that you are comfortable.
Can you lay down, Jashin? Is that okay?
No, you can't. You sit. You have to sit.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, you have to sit and focus on your breath for a couple of seconds and become aware of your surrounding, your breath, and your body. Become conscious for a second, and then lift your right hand and put your thumb on your middle finger and use this finger to block your right nozzle, and start breathing with this left one. And then you should, in your imagine, you should see this air is like an orb, is like a green orb that comes and passes through this red channel of energy in your left side, red channel of energy, and cleans it and comes down to your root chakra and goes to the left side again, to the right side again. And when you saw this coming here, same hand. Lift your hand from here, put it here, release it with all the power. You let out all the negative energy from your left side. 3 times. You do this 3 times. And then you use the other hand again and block this other nose. 3 times again. And then you put your hands down with your both nozzles. You take a whole breath, and again, you see this orb going down and merging in that blue channel and goes all the way up. And as you see, and as you imagine this green orb leaving your head, you From both nozzles, you release the air. And do this 3 times. So total of 9 breathing session. And that is it.
So just to clarify, you start by blocking your right nostril and
Yes,
imagining red starting
correct.
from, is it starting from your crown chakra and going down through your body and
No, it
up?
doesn't. It starts from your nasal.
Start your, so you're following the breath and
Yes,
visualizing the color red,
yes,
starting with this. Yep.
correct.
And
You,
then you switch after 3 cycles, you
yeah,
switch.
yes,
And
big.
then you're imagining white on the other side
Yes,
doing the same thing. Once
correct.
you do 3 more cycles, you can try to follow both now
Yes.
throughout the same process. So you're sort of
You
splitting
you
your
receive
attention.
you receive this time you receive 2 green orbs from each nozzle. So it goes all the way down, reaches to your root chakra, merges, become a big ball, big green ball, and moves this blue line all the way up. You see this. You're holding your breath. You imagine this. As soon as it left your head, you release this breath. And you have to
So last,
focus on draining negative energies. And then you go to sleep before lucid dreaming.
the last thing would be while you're following the breath, you're inhaling and holding it
Yeah.
through that, so
Yes.
that you're timing it once you're ready to exhale
Yes.
powerfully
You have to
here at the
imagine the
same
whole
time.
process. You have to
Mm.
see every inch that it moves on your body, goes down, takes the trip and to the other nasal, and then you switch and release.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
the
for walking us through
imagination
that.
is the main part. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So thank you so much for helping me try my own dream yoga practice. I'm going to practice that tonight before bed. And yeah, I'm really excited for it. So I just meditated now, just a few breaths, and it felt really good. So yeah, if you don't mind, we'll go. If interested in learning more about dream yoga or this type of lucid dreaming practice, if you wanted to give them any reference to a source or
Absolutely.
any last piece of advice.
Yeah. I mean, I have a website, lucidechoes.com, and I share a lot of my own studies, my interpretations. I also translate a lot of articles from Indian sources, from various other
Cool.
cultures. Lucid dreaming in Persia, lucid dreaming in Babylon, lucid dreaming in Egypt, in Judaism, in Hinduism. Uh, a lot of cultures have their own. So I share a lot of details and information on my website. If people would like to know more, they can visit me at lucidechoes.com. I can write it down for you if you. I think I've already sent it to you.
Awesome. Yeah. What I'll do is during the video here, I can actually put a comment as well. So lucidechoes.com. And that's ECHOES, right? .com. Awesome.
Yes.
All right. So Yashin, that was great. I really learned a lot from you tonight, and I feel like we could talk for so much longer. We already have talked twice as long as we intended to, so I'm imagining that was uh, a good conversation for some of our listeners here. And there are still 3 people who listen to us like consistently throughout. So I wanted to address this one question here. Actually, I'll just go back to the top and make sure that I'm covering it because it wasn't a lot. But if you do have any questions, you are listening to this later. Please, by all means, if you have a comment and I see it, I'll answer it to the best of my ability or reach out to Yashin and see if we can get a better answer for you. So somebody said, read Yoga and Philosophy by, I can only see part of the comment, Patanjali. I can't see the rest of it, but I'll look into that after the stream. Somebody said hi. Thanks for joining. I posted in Samadhi in the Dream Dojo. Okay, thank you. Um, Internet is spotty actually. The I think because it's so cold, the Wi-Fi is really crawling tonight. Did you ever ask yourself, Yashin, I'll ask you this. Did you ever ask yourself, who am I in a dream? What do you, if not, what do you think the answer would be?
Who am I? Um, that's a very good question, actually. No, you don't ask yourself, who am I in a dream? Because you are I in a dream. A lot of time in your life happens for you to say, I hate myself for saying lie, for hurting that person. I hate myself. Then you ask a question. Well, myself is the person who did that bad thing, who lied. But who is this I who knows lying is bad and now hates the myself? Who is this I who's always aware, who knows everything the right way, who is righteous? Who is this I? In the dream, you are that I. So that question is already as answered by you becoming lucid. That is you. The answer is right in front of you.
The best answer is always hidden in plain sight. I agree with that.
Correct.
I'm gonna try that the next time I become lucid. I've never thought to ask that. I have.
Well,
I've worked with a mental image, like a projection of who I think I am based on how I look. But more importantly, is who who do I think I am? Maybe that's asking what defines me. What do I care about? What do I pay attention to? I think Yashin is saying the dream itself, everything is a projection of you, who you are, much like the environment in your waking life would
yeah,
be a reflection of who
exactly.
you are. So basically, karma is a judgment and reaction to your own judgment. What do you think about that comment?
To your own judgment and
Karma
action.
is a judge. I put it on the screen there for you as well. I don't know if you can see that. It says so basically, karma is judgment and reaction to your own judgment. You want to clarify that?
Mm, it's actually reaction to your action. It's not a judgment in somebody's head. You do something and you get reaction. You hurt somebody and you get hurt. You steal from somebody, you get robbed. That's work. Karma is work. It's not ideas. It's actual thing that receives a reaction, an actual reaction.
Okay. So, do you believe karma is what your higher soul sends you to come here to overcome?
Karma is what your heart says. Yes, yes. That's explained. That can be explained in the context of reincarnation. That why do you even come down? You come
To learn
down
something.
to clear the karma. Even learning doesn't matter. You can live in a cave. Just do not create bad karma and follow your desire, your heart toward doing good. And then you've cleared your karma and then you leave this cycle. You will be out of this cycle. And
Yep.
that's the goal of almost everyone who knows.
Some people might think that reincarnation is a good thing, but I guess what you're saying is the ultimate evolution of our soul would be escaping that
Yeah. But
retribution, that cycle of karmic retribution, and
in plain
returning to
world,
source.
in plain word, with no political correctness, reincarnated person is the failed person. It means you've failed to clear the karma that you're responsible to clear. You came back. You should have been graduated, but you didn't. Now you're taking this class again until you learn and pass. And then you are out of cycle. You are the owner of cycle. You are part of that, the one who created the cycle. That's for me.
Awesome. I think we've had some great questions based on the few people who are in the audience. Somebody else said Buddhists say that there is no soul. If that's true, then who is it that reincarnates and travels from life to live in order to get to awareness, enlightenment, and moksha?
Uh, Buddhists, where do Buddhists say that they don't believe in soul? Or do
That would be my first question, actually.
yeah,
Yes, I
I
agree with that.
I have no. It, the whole idea is about soul. The whole it's a spiritual belief, so spirit. But I'm interested to know how does this come out like this. But
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, it sounds like they reference the term moksha. Do you know what that is?
moksha means, yeah, exactly, enlightenment.
Enlightenment.
Yeah,
Okay.
become enlightened means moksha. Now I understand that, and I understand the whole thing all the way up until Buddhists say there is no soul. Um, there is soul. They believe in soul deeply. Um, they have ways for them to intentionally leave their body and die and move on. Those who've cleared out their karmas, they can just lie down, decide, and die. Um, in Hindu, they call it Samatma Day, and that's how some gurus just intentionally die. If there is no belief in soul, where do they go? What do they believe? What do they focus on? What do they
Has that been
center?
studied, Jasheen? That's amazing. Has that been like studied under some sort of like lab setting that people were otherwise healthy and they lay down and because
There's
that sounds amazing, but also very scary to people who think that you could, die in a lucid dream. I just wanted to
no, it's not a
rely on.
lucid dream. It's not a lucid dream.
I
It's just,
know, I know. I'm
yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
know.
yeah. First of
if
all,
if this life is a dream, then that could be quite a scary concept for people who are
I mean,
afraid not to wake up.
yeah, we can die at any given time. Like it's
Thanks for
just.
the reminder. I appreciate
Life
it.
is, I mean, like life, death. Both of them can happen at any given time. Like the scary part about death is our ignorance. That's it. Death is not scary. I mean, we've died and lived so many times, and you can remember those in your lucid dream. There are practices for you to go back to your previous lives, to as many as possible, to 4 or 5 thousand years ago, to see your previous lives, to fix your problems, to understand how you can overcome stuff that you just don't have any answer for them. Like, why are you afraid of height? Why are you afraid of expressing yourself? Why are you afraid of loving somebody? Why are you afraid of talking loud? Be firm. These are things that, yes, they do have roots in your the parenting that you've raised with, the character, the genetics, but majority of them, if your energy, that means the problem is also energy. That means that energy has been traveling with us for centuries. Energy doesn't it doesn't fade away, and it doesn't just come out. It doesn't it just turns from different forms to different forms. It just takes shapes and forms. It doesn't destroy. You can't destroy and give birth to energy. So that is just very important.
Awesome, awesome. A lot to think about there for sure. Somebody said this is a really great session. Thank you. Thanks for being here, and
Thank you so much.
thank you to our guests. And then the last one here looks like somebody just did this a couple minutes ago. If each wake are dreams, what distinguishes this current waking reality from any other dreaming status?
If each wake,
I'm gonna go ahead and I'll start. Maybe you can add to it as well. I would say the difference is the laws of physics, the shared nature of experience that we can corroborate with other people. Dreams are seem to be subjective, and some people believe that we may be able to share dream experiences as well. But I would say the verifiable nature of reality in terms of conducting a reality check. Do I have 10 fingers? What was I doing before this? um, Critical thinking. Those are things that I think that escape most people during quote unquote their regular dreams, and lucid dreaming sort of destroys that boundary of reality. You have a conscious awareness of who you are when you're awake. You may very well be experiencing a past life regression where you are take a different form and have a different story. And in a moment of lucidity, there's something that ties you back to your physical body in the real world. So I personally think there are levels to lucidity, and that determines the nature of your experience. Much like you can sleepwalk through life distracted and unaware of your surroundings, most people do that from the moment they lay down to go to sleep until they black out and wake up the next morning. I think by practicing conscious awareness while you're awake, you carry that energy into the dream with you, and you start to become more aware of not just the physical world, but your mental internal world that works off the same projections that map your waking life. It feels just as real. You can reach out, you can touch things, taste, smell. The senses are all just as palpable as they are right now as you can test. But until you experience that first lucid dreaming experience, it's hard for me to convince you that there is no difference between this reality and that through awareness and lucidity, they can feel identical. So maybe Jashim will have something different to say to that question. But
no, I totally agree with what you said. But what I would like to add is that just circling back to the reality, the feelings that I talked about is that in this awakened life, the feelings, our feelings, are very visible. When we are angry, we really feel that anger, even if we don't show it. When we are in love, especially the negative feelings, when we are feeling jealousy. So, in the dreams, in regular dreams, we feel our emotions as vividly, or sometimes even much more vivid than our awakened life. The fear is very strong in regular dreams that you're not lucid. The fear, the anger, the jealousy, these are very vivid there. One the distinction between this current waking reality from any other dream is that, especially lucid dream, is that in lucid dream, a lot of very harsh, negative feelings just fade away. You don't really feel much. Nothing really scares you because you're in control. Hungry, I don't care. Thirsty, I don't care. I can have water. I can have food whenever I want, however I want, whatever I want. So that causes you to move away from those feelings. And that's if I want to call a perfect distinction, that would be it.
very cool. All right, I'm gonna take those bells and whistles as our alarm that we've gone over our time, my friend. And I know you're, I think, an hour behind. So uh, I'm gonna go ahead and get my sleep since you get that extra hour on me now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
uh,
it was an honor. I greatly appreciate it. Just wanted to mention that the website is Lucid Echo, it without
yep,
E, Echoes. So it was an honor for me to be here. Very glad. I hope we can catch sometimes else if you like to have a more in depth discussion about other aspects of lucid dream yoga. And I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
awesome. Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I do want to learn more. I want to pick your brain a bit about reincarnation.
Absolutely.
But we'll table that for another time. Thank you so much for your time, and I guess I'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.
You too. Sweet dreams.
Mhm. Bye.